choose between the two. Though I know.
Hey everyone, it's Lily. I totally lost my voice. I shouldn't even be filming tonight, but I just got home from a beautiful date with my husband. It's our anniversary, our 7-year anniversary, and I just have some things in my heart that I wanted to share with you guys, that I feel prompted to share with you guys, so please forgive my voice. Anyways, I want to talk a little bit about my past, but before I talk about my past, I want to talk about my present. So I told you that we just celebrated 7 years married, and up until like a few years ago, I seriously had to pinch myself still. Like, I could not believe that I was living the life that I was, and just like everything I had been through and where I was at in my life. Now it's kind of, the dust has kind of settled, and I don't necessarily pinch myself because I'm already used to it, and I've like already accepted the fact that this is my new life. But in the beginning, I definitely still was like almost in shock a little bit. After everything that I've been through, the way that I define love today is one word, and that's peace. Peace of mind. And the reason I describe it with peace is because that's what I feel. I don't have to worry about my husband being dishonest, disloyal, checking his cell phone, worrying about whether he's out with his boys and doing his guy thing, neglecting his family. Just some of the crap that I used to put up with, which we'll get into in a minute. I just have total peace in my life, and it's just filled with love, and there's no dysfunction, no drama going on. I feel like you always have to mention, obviously we're not a perfect couple. We get into our disagreements, but we have a healthy relationship. We don't fight, we don't argue, there's never any yelling, there's no name calling, and so I pretty much feel that if you have all of that, you're in a healthy relationship. If there's love, harmony in your home, you have a healthy relationship. But if you're always fighting, crying, complaining about the same things that never change, and the person just doesn't care, chances are you're in an unhealthy relationship. But anyways, so I'm just like really happy in my life right now. A lot of the things that I've always wanted to do in regards to my dreams, my goals, having a family, kids, like I'm living that right now. And so that's where I'm at now. But I want to tell you a little bit about where I was and a little bit about my past. I still get so emotional talking about it because I feel like where I'm at today, it didn't just land on my lap. It was something that I fought for, that I knew that I deserved better, that I knew that God had a better plan for my life. And so it was a calculated move that I had to make. There were many things that I had to sacrifice, effort that I had to make to be living the life that I'm into right now. I always had like long-term relationships, and none of my relationships were ever like abusive or like with big time jerks that treated me bad or anything like that. But they were just, we were unequally yoked. A lot of these relationships were with guys that I like to call worldly, that they're out there drinking, smoking, they think it's okay to go to strip clubs, hang out with the boys, pass by whenever, you know, they're done doing their thing, whatever that is. Oh, I'm so happy I never have to hear like, oh, I have to go do something, or just the random mysterious words that guys will tell you of things they were doing. I don't know. But anyways, I went through a lot of heartache. I did deal with like deception, being cheated on, things not making sense, like, wait a minute, he's denying it, but then why did that girl call your phone, and just all the drama. I went through years of like looking through the phone and overhearing conversations, or just like, you know, looking at my phone and wondering why he didn't call and what's going on. And I lived my life like that, like for a long time in the different relationships that I was in. And I finally reached a point in my life where I was, you know, I was a lot younger back then, and I knew I was getting older, and I knew that I wanted to have a family and be happy and be married. And most importantly for me, I grew up very religious, and I was always super close to God, and I knew that God wanted a different life for me, but I was fighting it because I was just stuck on my guys with the broken wings that I swear that I could fix, which now I know that you can't change anybody. They have to want to change for themselves. But anyways, I finally had to make a choice to be strong and to walk away from certain relationships that I thought I was really in love with, but that I knew that God had a different life, a better life for me. So the reason why I said I grew up very spiritual and religious, and I always had dreams of getting married in the temple of my church, and that meant that I had to be with someone that was of my same faith, and that was really important to me, just a personal choice that I wanted, even though no one I was dating was of my same faith. Complete opposite. But I was always like a faithful church-going girl, and of course those bad boys love those good girls, but they just don't know how to treat those good girls good. But that was always like that's how I grew up, and I always knew that God had like a better plan for my life, but I was just like ignoring him, thinking that I could do it my way. But when I finally got old enough, wise enough to know that these situations were never going to change, I knew that I had to make a choice. Like, I knew that I had to take action for my life, for my future. And so that meant choosing to walk away from, maybe choosing not to date certain guys that perhaps I felt like, oh, they used to be my type, or like, oh, that football player guy, or that like, oh, guy with the nice car, or like whatever it was. Like just the things that, you know, the things that girls are like, oh, I love these kind of guys, or I love a guy that does this, or like those like dumb things that really don't matter, but you kind of get caught up on when you're like in the dating scene or whatever. A lot of like the physical stuff is like, oh, but I love a guy that treats me like this, or has that swag, or that little thug in him, or whatever it is. It's so stupid, but like you do get caught up in that when you're single and you're going out and you're in the clubs, or you're just like out and about. But so that meant like staying away from the people, the same type of guy that I was dating. I knew that I had to do something different. If not, I was going to be an insane person, trying the same thing over and over, thinking I'm going to get different results. It never happened. And so fast forward, I took certain leaps of faith in my relationships to walk away and totally put my trust in God and believe that he had a plan for my life. And I had to make a lot of changes. I really had to put God first. I had to become the person that I wanted to be with. Sorry. I had to make changes within myself, because I knew that that's the kind of guy that I wanted. Like, I wanted to be with a guy that loved God, that was just a good man, a good family guy. I knew he was out there, but I just knew that I had to align myself to be able to attract that type of man in my life, because the way that I was living, I really wasn't gonna attract that good guy that I really wanted. And so I had to make changes. And so that's where I'm at today, you guys. I don't want to go into too much. I'm sure the story is long enough, but I just wanted to share with you guys that sometimes when we have to make changes in our lives, it's not easy. Change. Oh my gosh, you guys aren't even gonna understand me. But change is not easy. And it's a lot easier to stay in your situation and to hope for change than walking away and taking a leap of faith. It's very painful, especially if you have kids. I can't even imagine. At some point, your life has got to change, and if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna keep getting what you're getting. So many girls that I know are just in mediocre relationships that they're just fighting and fighting for change, when it's never gonna happen, because it's almost like biting into an apple thinking that it's gonna taste like an orange, but as long as you keep biting that apple, it's never gonna be an orange. Might be a silly analogy, but that's what we do. We keep dating the same kind of guys, going for the same type that you like, or that's your type, and you don't try anything different. You don't open your mind to different possibilities, and then you just stay in your same situation, and then life passes you by, and before you know it, you're 40 years old, you got kids, and then what, you know? Not that you can't find love in your 40s, but I'm just saying, especially if you're young. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. This video is super long, and obviously the people that are really interested in it are gonna listen to the end. But This conversation is just from my heart, and hopefully you can feel that. I wrote a few songs about when I was going through all this, and you can check out some of those songs too if you just need some extra inspiration on just taking that leap of faith. A lot of the songs on my album talk about my past too. It's not why I'm talking about this. I'm not trying to plug in my album. I just wanted to share this with you, whoever's watching.
I tried so long to be understanding, and now my heart is telling me